that tone, that rhythm, baby. That means it's philanthropy and focus time. It's Friday morning. It is 10 a.m. in the eastern part of the world, in the eastern part of this country, Long Island to be specific, right up at the top of my house. 2 flights up from the kitchen where I get my coffee and my dog Cheeto hangs out just below the roof. That's right, gang, in my attic. Where else would I be? 3.5 years probably in this attic. Again, they do let me out once in a while. The show is Philanthropy and Focus. I called out my buddy Cheeto right away. My guy Cheeto, check him out on Instagram. I'm really trying to help him out. He's only going to be, actually, today's his 4-month birthday. So happy birthday, Cheeto. We'll have to get you a dog cake or something like that. He's like 9 pounds. But I want to tell you why I'm talking about Cheeto on my show, Philanthropy and Focus. And here's why. As you can probably imagine, if you know anything about Tommy D, even if you listen to the show, if you know me in real life, you know I don't have problems making connections and making friends and building relationships. But I will tell you this. When you have a little dog and he's as cute as this dog is, he's even more helpful. He's making more friends than I'm able to make. And I mean, I'm taking him up in the neighborhood here. You know, it's springtime. The kids got ball games and stuff like that. And I'm taking Cheeto to the ball fields. And all the kids are like, Cheeto, Cheeto, there's Cheeto. So only 2 weeks ago, I was at a lacrosse game for one of my sons. And the man at the lacrosse game, you know the guy, when you go to the field, the guy that's on the golf cart, right? Coach D, you know the guy on the golf cart, he's always zipping around, like taking care of rounds, making the rules, right? The guy comes over, he goes, sorry, sir, you know, you can't have that dog on the field. And I said, well, why? What's the big deal? And he's like, well, sir, if you were allowed to bring your dog, then everybody would be allowed to bring their dog. And I was like, so what's the big deal? That sounds like a pretty cool party if everybody was able to bring their dog. And I guess maybe the dog would poop or whatever. Long story short, I end up relegated behind the fence and watching the lacrosse game. So did Cheeto. Obviously, that's why I was behind the fence. So I'm just hanging out, me and Cheeto kicking it, watching the lacrosse game. I'm just hanging out with him. He likes to just lays on his back, lets everybody rub his belly. He's very promiscuous. He doesn't even know these people. He could be strangers. He just lets strangers rub on his belly, this little dog. So on the other side of the fence is this woman, and she's complimenting my dog, and we become friendly and we start chatting it up. And, you know, I said, well, you know, as we're getting in the conversation, I said, you might not know this, Jane, but I'm the nonprofit sector connector. And she's like, I don't know what that means, Tommy D, but it's funny you should say that because I just founded a nonprofit organization. And I said, of course you did, because that's exactly how the world operates. That's how the universe operates. And we start connecting, and she tells me about this organization called One Stitch Foundation. And if I go back and do the math, I swear to you all, it's probably tomorrow would be like, that's like 2 weeks ago tomorrow. And today that organization is being featured on the show. And Coach D is my guest representing the One Stitch Foundation. Coach D, what is up, man? What's going on?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm just, listen, man, I'm fired up, and I'll tell you why. I just put a post on LinkedIn this morning at a kid, I think at my kid's school, and I'm putting a post on LinkedIn, and it was like telling people how fired up I am about this conversation. And I love doing this show, but there's just something I feel like connected with you, man. And when we were talking the other day on like I always do a prep call with my guest gang. We always try to do that 5 to 10 minutes, just like, here's what we're going to expect. Here's what the show's all about. And I just felt like this energy and connection with you, man. I was like, dude, I got to connect with this person and that person. We're talking, about, all your relationships in the NBA. So I will tell you, I'm right on the edge of anxiety, which is where I like to stay most of the day anyway, until I go to sleep. So I'm right there. I'm really fired up. I know we could talk. I got to be honest with you. My NBA knowledge of late is not great, but I do know the Knickerbockers are now moving on to the next round. Shout out to my buddy Bert Lurch. Bert is a lifelong Knicks fan, and all the other Knicks fans. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about that, I guess, today, Coach, because of all your involvement with the NBA and obviously what you're doing with the One Stitch Foundation. So before we even jump into this conversation, there's a couple things I got to just say. This week was the Long Island Imagine Awards. Gang, if you're not familiar with the Long Island Imagine Awards, the Imagine Awards recognize and acknowledge the work nonprofits are doing here in Long Island. It was a really special event. I think it was like 460 people in the room. I had on a seersucker suit. I think I had like the top 3 buttons open with my wooden necklace, because I am a seersucker suit in a room full of black and gray suits. And that's just how it is. And it's easy for people because I go, you got to meet my buddy Tommy D. He's the guy over there in a seersucker suit. Last year was pink linen, Coach. But you know what? This year I went seersucker. So I try to stand out a little bit. I don't know if you could tell from what I'm putting down right there, gang, but it's all about, I think any attention is good attention, because it's about building relationships. And when I'm the nonprofit sector connector, which I am, you have to make relationships. You have to build alliances so everybody's better off. Like I say, getting out there. I meet Jane Lee. If I don't meet Jane, I don't meet Coach D, and then we don't do this show. And this is just how it all happens. And it just continues out. And the ripple effect, I'm looking at the website. Go to onestitchfoundation.com. If you're listening or if you're watching, go there as well. Go there either way. Just go to onestitchfoundation.com, learn about what they're doing. What we do on this program is really, it's two things if you kind of distill it down. It's I connect with these leaders and help them tell their story and amplify their message. And that's what this is all about. And you know what drives me bananas is when somebody says, hey, man, we're like the best kept secret, but we don't want to be the best kept secret. And that's
Right.
sort of my mission is like, cool, good, because I got a big mouth. I know some people. And I mean, I think I told you this the other day, Coach, when we were talking. I had a guy called Big Daddy, Rich Salgado, on the show. Very connected. Played football down at Maryland. Very connected in the NFL space. I think he'd be a great guy to connect you with. And that's what'll tend to happen throughout the show. I'll just basically stop the show and introduce people in my mind like I'm doing right now. So shout out to Big Daddy. Shout out to MJ Padone. MJ is very connected to folks in the NBA as well. So I want to get you and her connected as well, Coach D. So, all right, like without further ado, if I can, I shall try, but I might be go on some tangents again. But Coach, let's just break this down. Really, I want to understand, I want to understand who you are from a basketball mindset, the work you do, the coaching you do, how you connect with Jane, how this even really happened. So I want to get to know Coach D, Nathaniel Lancaster, the man, to the ball player, the coach, the trainer, and then let's move that into the nonprofit organization, if that works for you, sir.
Okay. How you doing? My name is Coach D Lancaster. I direct youth basketball camps around the country for the National Basketball Association, for the Washington Wizards, Philadelphia 76ers, Atlanta Hawks, Memphis Grizzlies. Where am I going? I said Philadelphia, right?
I think so, yeah.
Philadelphia, Orlando Magic, and now the newly acquired Miami Heat.
Congrats.
So what I do, I go around the country and I direct youth basketball camps for the NBA. And then in the meantime, I have my own business called D-Train Express, where I train the youth coming up and have little travel basketball teams.
So let me ask a couple of things. So I just wrote down D-Train Express. I wrote down AAU because I want to ask you about AAU because I know I'm familiar with, but I want to go to kind of the piece about the youth basketball from the NBA's perspective. I mean,
okay.
What exactly does that look like? Each team, what are they doing in market? Like, what's their commitment to the community? That's what I want to understand.
Well, each NBA team has a basketball camp and basketball clinics throughout the year, primarily in the summer, but throughout the year, they'll do a holiday clinic, they'll do a Easter clinic, they'll do a Thanksgiving clinic, things like that. And you got to remember something, every NBA team wants to connect to community, and a kid that will go to, let's say, a New York Knicks camp or a Brooklyn Nets camp feels like they're part of that team. That's like a kid's dream to go to a professional basketball team's camp. Like they get some swag, they get a t-shirt that says they were there. Maybe a player might come, so it's something like, it's a big deal for the kids.
And they get to go, like if you're with the Knicks or something like that, they get to the garden and stuff. And
well, no, they'll have it in different venues like Hunter College. Like we do something in the Hamptons at the Ross School in the Hamptons. Okay. They'll do something like at the JCC or YMCA.
Yeah, something
like that. And then the Knicks will come. They might bring the dancers. They might bring, a former player or a current player.
That's awesome.
Depending on the season. In season, they might bring a current player, but outside the season, they might not because the players go on vacation.
They go home. They go away. They're not necessarily in the neighborhood so much.
Yeah. But that's a big deal for a child to see a former or a current player just coming to the camp because it just makes them feel connected to that player.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me, I want to know about D-Train Express. I want to understand your business because I tell you, I was telling you this the other day. So I have 4 kids. One's a softball pitcher. That's the oldest. The next guy he's first baseman in baseball, plays some travel ball, plays CYO basketball. Right now he's in lacrosse, baseball. They play flag on Friday nights, flag football. That's one guy on 4 teams. And then, my younger daughter, she's into basketball too. And then my youngest guy, he's getting into the flag. He's playing baseball. He's only 8, so he's coming up right now. But D-Train Express, I mean, I'm all about coaching. I'm all about, like, I mean it from a business perspective, I mean it from a lifestyle perspective, from an educational perspective. Like when we talk about peak performance, this is a show about nonprofits, but when we talk about leaders of nonprofits, we talk about peak performance. I sort of one of my children goes to she gets like math tutoring, like this place, Mathnasium, right?
Okay.
And
I know
and
what that is.
yeah, and sometimes she takes it as like, a negative. And I'm like, no, 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 you got to understand, like, you're trying to up your game. You're trying to get better. This is a place where you might be weak or you might not have this figured out. So it's about getting a coach. It's about getting somebody in your corner, getting techniques, getting skills. I mean, even I don't know why this is coming up for me. It's been a long time since I've been in school, but I remember the SATs, man. You would
I
take
remember.
SAT prep. You would take these things. Like, it was about.
Mhm.
So talk to me about that. Like, none of this, for the most part, like, we have some level of skill, right? But it's about accelerating that and advancing that through education to get to that peak performance, right? So as a coach, talk to me about some of that stuff if you could.
Well, absolutely. D-Train Express was a organization that I founded in my spare time without running NBA camps. I go around, rent gyms, and train groups of kids, whether it be private or in groups. And then after that, I create little travel teams and play in different tournaments around the city. And I think that's very good for the child to, one, be on a team with me, and also for me to train them on the personal side.
Yeah.
Because now we have a great connection, and we kind of get to know each other. I kind of get to know their skill sets that much better.
Yeah. So again, I think it takes, it's one thing, and bless all the dads and moms that get involved in the little leagues and the CYO ball and stuff like that. But, often they don't, maybe they played, in high school or whatever.
Right.
Like I was telling you, I played CYO ball, St. Thomas out in West Hempstead. I grew up in Franklin Square. We played in West Hempstead, St. Thomas the Apostle. I used to coach. I don't know if I think I did tell you this the other day. I was coach Our Lady of Lourdes
Oh
CYO
yeah.
over in Queens Village. My buddy
Yeah.
Frank DeLuca used to run that program. But I'm telling you, I mean, I'm 45. That's 25 years ago, probably. I was like, I was tending bar with my buddy Chris DeLuca, and we would we would work with the boys, fifth grade boys. But even that, like, it's not like you can see the game through different eyes as a guy who played, right, and a guy who runs these camps, and you can see, that talent, and also, I would say you could see where the gaps are, and like where
Absolutely.
the mistakes are. Like, if just again, you and probably super quick, you go, all right, you're just doing this wrong, your pivot's wrong, you're moving wrong, right?
Right.
Talk to me about that stuff.
Well, yeah, it's true, because when you travel around the country like I do, you see thousands and thousands of kids,
Yeah.
thousands of personalities, thousands of skill sets.
Right.
So you're right. I could pick up on that, because the different kids you see, the different skill sets you see, you could pinpoint on something that I could maybe get from Indiana and take to Atlanta.
Right.
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
because a lot of kids have different personalities, a lot of kids have different upbringing,
Yep.
and you just kind of collaborate all that and put that together and come up with a solution on how you can help that child one way or another, whether it's private or in a group setting.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Definitely want to hook up and have you meet with my kids and stuff like that, because I'm trying to help them advance their game. Especially, my younger daughter. She digs basketball, man, and she's, I love that, man.
Mhm.
I'll tell you, man. The girl sports I think are great. Especially, I mean, having two sons and two daughters, I get to see kind of both versions of this thing. But it's having my daughter play softball, I think, is great. I like when if you ever catch a college softball game, on ESPN or something like that, like
Mhm.
those games are quick games, man. It's fun, a lot of action,
yeah.
stuff like that. So it's fun to watch. And you and I both know this, like, the sport is one thing, but it's what are we building in the character, right, of these young
Yeah.
people, right? And what are we talking about? And we're going to go to break in a second. We'll talk about this when we come back, but it's what are we talking about? Discipline, right? Getting there, right? Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, one thing about the training of the kids, the commitment's first.
Yeah.
The commitment's first. Once a kid is committed, I can pick up on that right away. And the passion, you can't teach passion.
Yeah. Hard.
So once I see a kid such as Jane's kid, Chase,
Yeah.
who has a commitment that's out of this world and passion for the game,
The kid
I
loves
picked
it.
up on that
He
from
loves
day
it.
one.
You knew it, but I get chills right now, because you knew, like, that kid, it don't matter. He's going to be in the gym. He's going to be just making it happen.
From day one. And when you train different kids throughout the country, you could pick up on certain kids that have the passion and the commitment.
Yeah.
A lot of times, a lot of parents live through their kids.
Yeah.
You have to, and I see all that. So
They,
they want this.
they push them. They kind of like push them in a direction, go do that thing
Right.
I didn't do or whatever.
Right. And
Yeah.
then sometimes they get disappointed because the child don't want to do it.
Right.
He
Yeah.
doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. It might not be their dream. Just because it's your
Right.
dream, might not be their dream. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I could pick up on that right away, and it's just through years of experience of going to different cities and going to different states and meeting different children and parents.
Well, I want to ask you one quick question, then we'll go to break. There's this fairy tale story about Michael Jordan, about how he didn't make his junior high school team, and then he didn't make his high school team, and he just put in the time. I mean,
That's a fact.
I mean, tell us about that, because he didn't make those teams, but then he's MJ, so what was it with him, right?
Well, I guess with him and his go-getter attitude and his no quitting attitude, that just drove Michael Jordan to be the player that he is. I watched a piece on Kobe the other day, and when he was talking about that Giannis failure thing, Kobe said, no, there's no failure. You just work harder and get better. And I think that's Michael Jordan just took it to another level, because in his mind, he was shocked that he didn't make either one of those teams when he knew and he thought that he was a better person.
Right.
So he had that killer instinct, if you will, that made him the player he is. He just didn't quit, and that's what took him overboard. I think with Michael Jordan, he never wanted to feel like he felt when he didn't make those two teams during his career.
But there's a choice there too, Coach D. There's a choice, right? Michael Jordan decided to go in the direction you just said. There's another choice. A kid puts his head down and goes, I suck at this, or this ain't my game.
Right. Yep.
And I'm going to go a different direction. And I mean, we probably know, how much talent gets left on the court or the field that because somebody told you couldn't do it. Like I have somebody in my life, I'm not going to call her out personally, but, was told when she got into a certain program at college and then the graduate level and the doctorate level that she didn't belong. And this person said, okay, that doesn't work for me, and put her head down and work harder and harder, and not one internship, but two, not an internship only, but an externship and an internship, and just did the stuff. So there's this piece where, we get tested, and that's what we do in life, right? We get these tests in front of us, and it's how bad you want the thing. And it's, I guess it's right if you don't want it, because guess what? There's somebody waiting for that spot. There can only be 5 players on that court at any time, right?
Absolutely.
And if you don't want the spot, that's cool, because there's 100 guys waiting for that spot, or 100 gals waiting for that spot, right? So, and more than 100 if we're talking at the elite levels. All right, let's take a quick pause. We'll go to break. Coach D is with me. The organization is One Stitch Foundation. We'll be right back. Philanthropy and Focus. Tommy D.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business, or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you on edge? Hey, we live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargeman, the host of The Edge of Every Day, which airs each Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and perspectives about pushing boundaries and exploring our rough edges. That's The Edge of Every Day on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
We're back. We are back. Philanthropy and Focus is the name of the program. The organization we're focused on today is the One Stitch Foundation, and my guest is Coach D. Coach D. Lancaster. D Train Express. does a lot of work with the NBA in their junior camps and clinics and stuff like that, travels around the country doing this great work. And we talked about peak performance. It wasn't a plan, but that's where my head went to today. It was about elevating your game, getting better, putting in the work, getting in the gym. I think about guys who, I don't know if it was Michael Jordan's story or Larry Bird, but it's just like they just put in the time, they put in the effort, lonely mornings and lonely nights in the gym, shooting those free throws, right? Doing the reps and things like that. And that is the stuff that celebrates you. It's okay if you just choose to be at one level, but if you want to be elite, you got to put in the work, right, Coach?
You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. And it's let me say this: it's not so much skill set. A lot of people think it's skill set. It's not skill set. It's more effort. It's effort.
Head too, right, man? How bad you want?
See in your head.
Yeah.
You could be the greatest you could have the greatest skills and not make a team.
Yeah.
Because of attitude, because sportsmanship, because work ethic. So a lot of people, a lot of parents, if you will, like get it wrong because if they think their kid can shoot the lights out, but if he has a crappy attitude and he's not a team player, he's not going to make the team.
No doubt, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you ever follow this guy, Gary Vaynerchuk. He's Gary V. Does a lot of work in like the media world, and he's an entrepreneur. Very, very popular. If you follow him on social media and stuff like that. And he talks about like from a business perspective, if you have somebody on your team talking about business, and it might be your top salesperson, your top rep, whatever, but if they're a cancer to the organization, they suck. His answer is blow them out. Get them out.
Right.
Get them out of the organization. And now that might sound scary to business owners. And you go, well, but that's my producer. That's like the number one. Like that's the guy.
Right.
Yeah, but how bad is he affecting the rest of the culture? And what about in a basketball setting or a football setting, right? If somebody don't have the right attitude, then they're just a problem, no matter how good they're producing, right?
Absolutely.
So let's go into your upbringing, playing ball and stuff like that. Monsignor Scanlon, right? Point guard. Tell me some of that story.
Yep. Grew up in Flushing, Queens, and then I moved to Harlem. I went to Monsignor Scanlon High School, played on the basketball team. And then I played football at Nassau Community College.
Well, I went to Nassau as well.
Yeah, I was more football, and then but I always gravitated to basketball.
Yep.
And then after I graduated, I got out and I started coaching at Rucker Park.
Tell me about that story. I knew we were going to get there. The famous Rucker Park. I did my research
Rucker Park
the other day.
For all who don't know, that's one of the famous street ball tournaments where people like Dr. J, Kobe Bryant, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the list goes on. Wilt Chamberlain have played there. And it was an honor to actually play there. I coached there for about, I want to say 12 to 14 years and won one championship. But the key to that is the championship I won, well, we just mentioned his name, was for MJ.
That's so wait a minute. So you coached Michael Jordan is what you're saying?
I coached not him per se, I coached his team.
You coached his team. Okay.
Yeah, I wish I coached Michael.
All right. I was confused then. All right.
No.
What does that mean?
What happened was the owner of Rucker Park at the time, God rest his soul, Greg Marius, he called me up one day because I always brought different, I always had good teams, but I never had a team that brought me over the top. So one year I had a really good team. I had some college players. I had Brandon Jennings. And he says, Coach. I said, what, Greg? He says, you sitting down? I said, yeah, come on, what you got? He said, I'm giving you Team Jordan. I said, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, you better win. I said, Team Jordan? What do you mean Team Jordan? That's just the name. He says, no, I'm giving you Michael Jordan's team.
So what does that mean? So Michael Jordan, he put together a team like these?
Yeah, so what happens is the Rucker Park, all of these like famous, Fat Joe has a team. Okay. At the time, Sean Combs had a team. Jay-Z had a team. So Michael Jordan said, you know what, I want to get into it as well.
So hold on one sec, so I understand. So like these guys, like Fat Joe, hip hop guys, like you said, Jay-Z, like they like sponsor the team. It becomes like their business thing. Okay, got it. Yeah,
they sponsor the team because their name is all over it. They'll pay the players and they'll make sure that they win. So when Greg approached me with Team Jordan, I said absolutely. Yeah. And that year we were the only team that had the Jordan logo on our. I'll tell you a funny story about that. We was the only team that had the Jordan logo on our uniforms.
Okay.
So that was real. Yeah. And that's the year that Nike put a wood floor outside.
In the park?
In the park, yes. And that's the year I won.
Wow.
So that kind of like springboarded and put me on the map for real because the pressure was on me all year to win. So I was just, going back and forth trying to get a player here. So the story I'm gonna tell you real quickly.
Yeah.
We had Brandon Jennings on the team, and that year he just signed with Under Armour.
Okay.
Right. So when Brandon Jennings comes, I introduced myself. How you doing? I just wanted him on the court. Yeah. Shook his hand. Let's go. Get on the court. Give him a uniform. Yeah. And then his friend, his representative who was with him, he says he can't wear that uniform.
He couldn't wear it because he's got deal with Under Armour.
So I said, no. He's playing. What are we gonna do? Wear it inside out. Do this and that. So the ref said, nope. It's a tech. This and that. Every time he steps on the court, it's a tech. So we're in the hood.
Yeah.
So I said, look.
Get some scissors. Somebody cut it off or something. Couldn't you cut the knife?
No. So I sent somebody to the bodega and get some white tape.
Come on.
and I had them tape the Jordan logo.
And
because I had them tape the Jordan logo so he could play. I was like, he's playing.
And that was his rep was okay with that. If you did that,
yeah, his rep was. By the end of the game, the damn thing fell off. But
of course.
I did because social media's around. They just could not see him with that Jordan logo on.
Okay. Yeah.
But I won. But yeah, we put.
What is that? Is that like a weekend tournament?
No, it runs from Father's Day in June to the end of August.
Oh, all right. So it's throughout the whole summer.
Yes, throughout the whole summer, correct.
Man. All right, and they're still doing it. Still goes on.
It still goes on. I just don't have time. I'm traveling too much to coach.
Yeah.
I just don't have time to do that anymore.
That's awesome. So all right. So I want to shift for a second. I want to shift into how does this organization end up happening? Like you start coaching. You said Jane's son. Do you say Chase?
Yes, Chase. Yep.
So you start working with him, and then what is the catalyst? What is the conversation that happens where this isn't probably something you uncovered, you knew it already, but you shared the story about what was going on in some schools that I wrote down the notes that you said before. You said footwear to athletes so they can focus on being dream builders, right? Tell me that.
Absolutely.
Say it the way you said it, because I want to make sure I hit it.
I'm the board of director of One Stitch Foundation, and we're connecting footwear to athletes most in need so they focus on dream building. Meaning, you have to remember something. A lot of times when you have sneakers mean a lot, right? You could be the best kid in the world and not have like a great pair of sneakers. But let's say a group of kids come into a gym with, I don't know if you know about the Kobe Grinches. The Kobe Grinches are $700 sneakers.
Grinches.
Yeah.
My younger guy's got these Giannis right now, and my other guy likes always got to have Currys. And fortunate for them, they got a grandmother who's willing to buy them, because otherwise, I would say I'd go to Modell's, but there's no Modell's anymore.
There's no more Modell's or Hermes. I'm getting old.
No,
but what I'm saying is, so that could be intimidating.
Yeah.
To a group of underprivileged kids who have just regular sneakers on.
It rolls in with $700 kicks on.
Right. So you have this team that walks in the gym. You're already defeated when you see what's on their feet.
Yeah, right. Wow.
So that's really primarily what One Stitch really wants to do, is just make it an even playing field.
I love it.
Now don't get me wrong. We're not giving out Grinches. I don't want the world to think that. But what I'm saying is we're making them feel just as effective and just as important as the kids who can afford a Kobe Grinch.
Who was it? Was it Coach Wooden that when he would sit down with his team, he would like help them put their socks on the right way when
that was Wooden. Yeah.
And he would help them. This is put your sneakers in, make sure you lace them up right. Put your laces in your sneakers, make sure you lace it up right. Your socks get in the right spot, because that's foundational stuff. And that's what I'm hearing you say. This is a foundation. It's the foundation of our body, man. We can't do much if we can't stand upright. So it's that support. We'll take a quick break in a sec here, but we come back. I want to. You kind of set the stage. We're teasing them. They're going to come back, because that's what this is about. This organization is about putting those sneakers on feet that need those sneakers to kind of level the playing field. We'll be right back. Philanthropy and Focus. Coach D and Tommy D. We're right back.
All right.
Are you passionate about the conversation around racism? Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. TLC, host of the Dismantle Racism Show, which airs every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. Join me and my amazing guests as we discuss ways to uncover, dismantle, and eradicate racism. That's Thursdays at 11 o'clock a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
In a post-COVID world, you may have many unanswered questions regarding your health. Are you looking to live a healthier lifestyle? Do you have a desire to learn more about mental health and enhance your quality of life? Or do you just want to participate in self-understanding and awareness? I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each Thursday, I will tackle these questions and work to enlighten you. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will be frank about help to advocate for all of us.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy and Phocus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
Every Friday morning, it's a new nonprofit. Well, the nonprofit's not new. It just might be new to you. It's another opportunity for me to interview the leader of a nonprofit organization. And I want to read you something real quick. One Stitch Foundation connects footwear to young athletes in high-need communities in New York. We have helped different schools and clubs by providing sneakers, cleats, and are now trying to help our coach get to Botswana. I'm not even going to let coach talk about that yet. We're going to hold off on that Botswana thing. But we believe that every kid deserves to open a brand new pair of sneakers to help them build confidence in whatever sport. And it says if we create an even playing field, then it becomes about skill and nothing else. Well, skill and heart, right, coach? I mean, skill and heart and mindset and drive, right? But certainly
Absolutely.
It takes off that burden of I don't have sneakers, I don't have good sneakers, I'm using my older brother's sneakers or that sort of thing. So
you have to remember something too about children too. Let's go back to where we said if those kids have the Grinches and those other kids don't have anything, even if the kids that don't have the sneakers that the other kids have, it's intimidating to them, even if they're better.
Yeah, that guy just because he has the Grinches, he might suck.
Exactly. That's my point.
He might have,
and they'll see them walk in the gym and say, "Oh my God, those kids are good."
Yeah,
because the mentality is you're not gonna. The mentality for the other kids is saying the parents not gonna buy them no Grinches if they can't play no ball. Right. So it's automatically a psychological thing from the rip.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
So telling Jane that, and she just was like, she just wants to even playing field, and she's the one who said that day, and I was like, wow, Jane.
Yeah.
She just said it's just not fair. I was coaching at North Star Academy, MS34 in Brooklyn, and I was going there, every Tuesday and Thursday to run the after school program. And I was doing a drill. One of the kids stopped and kept and slid like he was on ice skates.
Oh man!
And I was like, wow, and it was just something. I live near the Nike outlet.
Yeah.
I went to the outlet and then I just said, let me get this kid a pair of sneakers because he can't even slide.
He had no grip. He had no tread left on the bottom.
He had no tread level on the bottom. Yeah. So that day I was training Chase, Jane's son, and I was like, yeah, I just came from a Nike outlet. I was coming from Brooklyn, and I just went to buy this kid a pair of sneakers because they just didn't have no sneakers. Yeah. She was like, oh, that's so sweet, Coach D, this and that. So after I trained her son, I went home that night, went to watch the ball game, and the Venmo came through for $300. So I called Jane. I said, Jane, did you Venmo me by accident? You already paid me for Chase. What are you doing? Yeah. She says, no, I just told you. You just told me about the kid that you bought the sneakers for. So I'm just sending you that money to buy for the whole team. I said, are you serious? She said, yeah. So I said, all right. So I ran back to the outlet and I bought the whole team sneakers. Wow. And then I filmed it and I sent it to Jane saying, look, this is what we did. So what happened was, this is where One Stitch comes in.
Yeah.
I went to the manager of Nike and I said, listen, I want to buy sneakers for kids in need. Is there anything that I can get like a discount, because I don't have money like that. Yeah. He was like, well, let me show you something. So he goes in the back and he shows me a sneaker. And I was like, all right, it's Nike, I'll take it.
Yeah.
He said, I can't sell you that. I said, what do you mean you can't? He said, there's something wrong with it. I said, what's wrong with it? He said, One Stitch is off. So he can't sell it. So I told Jane that. So I said, Jane, I'm gonna talk to the Nike guy. I'm gonna get a bunch of sneakers with One Stitches off. We're gonna buy a bunch of sneakers for the kids. The kids are not gonna know. Now I told the guy, I can't get a Nike sneaker with an upside down check, because that's
Right. No, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna be cool.
That's not going to be cool. But what I'm saying is, I'm going like this, looking all around. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this sneaker.
Yeah.
One stitch was off, and they said I can't really sell you that. So I told Jane that, and that's how she thought about one stitch. Isn't it great?
Yeah, is it great? I mean, I got chills. Like, this is how things happen. I want to call out to all you people that are listening. If you have an idea to do something and change the world, just freaking do it. I mean, this is a woman who was like, wow, this guy is out there going in his pocket, helping out this young person who doesn't have the resources to get new sneakers. I want to support that. Then you guys come together on this thing, and now it's a movement, man. Now it's a nonprofit organization. Now it's changing the world. Now it's changing the lives of these young people. I'm not saying, and I know, I think, Coach, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I don't think you're saying each one of these kids, is going to be playing, at the Boston Garden or at Madison Square Garden or at St. John's even. But what you're saying is you're changing the trajectory of their lives. So they could, right? I'm not the negative guy. I'm not saying they can't. But the point is, you're now leveling the playing field where now they're better off. They'll have more of an opportunity, and maybe they can get to that level depending on the skill set and the mindset and the whole thing, right?
And also, too, they feel better about themselves, meaning like let's our first drop was at the Brooklyn Navy Yard Boys and Girls Club, where I used to work as well as the basketball trainer there.
Okay.
Right. Now, first drop was there. They came up to me, even though I was their coach, they came up to Jane like, why?
Yeah.
Why us? See, and that's what they don't have, because they just think maybe there's a catch, maybe there's this, maybe there's that. No, there's just good people in the world.
We're hooking it up, right? We're just paying.
Right. And then that could change their whole outlook on life.
Of course it does. Without
like, wow, maybe I should go this direction because there's actually people out there that care.
Yeah, I'd love for you to meet some of my friends over at Avenues for Justice. I don't know why it's coming up for me, but these are young people affected. It's an alternative to incarceration program for young people. I think it's 16 to 24-year-old kids. And you're talking about what you're saying there is it's a shift. It's a change in the direction of the way somebody's life would go. And,
exactly.
You and I know this, certain communities end up, linked up in the criminal justice system more than other communities. It's just straight up. And if you guys don't agree with me about that anymore, I don't know what to tell you, but like, this is true stuff.
It's true stuff. Listen, my dad is a retired assistant warden for Rikers Island.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
So I believe me, I know that.
Specifically who's on that island and who's not on that island.
Exactly. And that's another reson why I went on the straight now as a kid, because my dad was like, I better not see you in here.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I'm saying? So I get it. And just something like that, and like Jane said too, it's something about, and even adults, even NBA players, it's something about opening up a box of fresh sneakers.
You got that tissue paper on the top.
Tissue paper, and you're like, it's a certain thing. So can you imagine for a kid who doesn't have much, and for him to open up a free pair of sneakers from a perfect stranger?
I love that. I love that. I want to be part of this, man. How often you have those things when you said these drops? I like that's what you call it when you.
Yeah, we call it drops. Well, let's put it this way: the more donations, the more drops.
The drops. I think. Right, so that's good. Well done, sir. Well done.
Well done, sir. Right.
Jane, you sent the right guy here for sure. I dig. How do you
more donations, more drops.
What do you guys got to do? You got to go to onestitchfoundation.com. They're on Instagram. On the Instagram, it's One Stitch Foundation. I'll be tagging them on some stuff. So look at TommyD.NYC. While you're on Instagram, check out my guy Cheeto, because I'm trying to get that little dog some love. My guy Cheeto, I'm really pushing that. CHEETO is how you spell it. My guy Cheeto. That's how you do it. So look, let's support this organization. What about, like, are there, like, it's a new organization. I know that, man. So are you guys already planning, like, fundraising events? Like, what are you doing in the community? Because again, I'm involved in nonprofit, and I know a little bit about this stuff, but I know, having, again, how I told the story up in front, just met Jane recently, and her and I've only had like one other phone conversation, a couple text messages before, like, today. So I don't know a whole lot about what's upcoming, how you guys are doing fundraising and stuff like that. That being said, before you even answer anything, Coach, guys, they don't need to have a fundraiser. If you want to support this organization, go to the website, make a donation. It's that simple. But what is anything ideas you have? Is there a Coach D tournament? Is there some sort of relationship with Nike or Reebok or NBA or whatever? Let's talk about that.
Well, yeah, a couple of events that we want to do. We want to have like certain schools like that are like the school like Apollo that we just did, Apollo Middle School, Junior High School 189 that we're getting ready to go to next. We want to have them a slew like a school tournament at the Barclays Center. And we're going to do a fundraiser event there where they're going to get to play on the Barclays Center court, and the proceeds from that will go to One Stitch Foundation so we can go more and support other schools and other organizations. We want to do local things in certain towns in Long Island, where we have certain three-day tournaments and 3-on-3 tournaments where, you know, it's a charge to go in, and all the proceeds from that will go to One Stitch Foundation. We want to do certain tournaments where at the end of the tournament, we might give the MVP of the tournament some Grinches or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Another thing I do is when I direct the NBA camps, we do this thing called Shoot for Shoes, which I got from the Orlando Magic. I'm going to give Orlando Magic props on that. I got it from the Orlando Magic where they shoot for shoes, where they have to make 6 shots, box,
yeah,
elbow, 3-point line, and a half court shot. So it's called Shoot for Shoes.
A half court shot.
Yeah, so but you have to make all 6. As soon as you miss one, you're out.
Yeah.
So I collaborated with the Orlando Magic, probably the Washington Wizards, and now I'm gonna bring it to Miami, and they all like, wow, let's do that. So what's gonna happen is this summer when I go, hopefully a kid shoots for shoes and gets a pair of free sneakers.
Yeah.
Before the director of the camp, which was myself, had to purchase the sneakers. So I was kind of hoping that a kid missed. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of hoping the kid missed. But now, like when I was speaking to Jane about it, she was like, no, we want kids to hit the shots. I was like, yeah, okay.
Coach, once you got a sponsor, it's different now, right?
It's different now, yeah. So we're gonna collaborate that this summer, where we're gonna go shoot for shoes. And can you imagine 180 kids at an NBA camp yelling, "Shoot for shoes"?
Oh man,
shoot for shoes.
I love it. I love it. I want it when you're going to do something on the island here. You know, shout out to my father who owns Ralph's Italian Ices in Huntington here on Long Island, the one by the Paramount. So yeah, throughout the years, he's been helping me out when I have nonprofit events, bringing Italian Ices through. So we should talk about like hooking up and we could do that. The other thing that's coming up for me right now is my friend Melinda Murray Nyack runs an organization that I think would be great for you to collaborate with. It's called the Dom Hart 21 Foundation. And her son, Dominic, unfortunately died of sudden cardiac arrest in a basketball game. Yeah, he was on the court at SUNY Farmingdale, and he was 17 years old, and he had an underlying heart condition he didn't know about. And she's been on the show a couple times. She was back here in February because it's American Heart Month. But being that he was a ball player and being what that organization does is they go out and do heart screenings for young people. So I'm thinking there's this whole like kind of collaboration between what One Stitch is doing and what she's doing in getting out. She was just at oh God, I'm not going to remember which Monsignor high school it was over in Queens. You said Scanlon, right?
I went to Scanlon. Scanlon's in the Bronx.
Yeah, in the Bronx. So she went to another one. Oh,
was it Monsignor McClancy?
It was McClancy. So she just did heart screenings for I think 400 young people at McClancy. They bring in all the equipment and do that, and they do this for free. So I'm thinking, because of how my head goes, I'm thinking there's this opportunity for you to collab with that organization. And shout out to Melinda too, because she just I was talking to her the other day, and they asked me to be an honoree at their event in October, and I graciously accept that honor, and I appreciate it, Melinda. So the other thing is my friend, one quick thing, Coach D. The other thing is my friend Linda Beagle Schulman here on Long Island from the Scott J. Beagle Memorial Fund has a basketball tournament coming up in the summer. I think I should hook you guys up. That organization, they send young people affected by gun violence to summer camp. And because her son Scott was tragically murdered down in the Parkland shooting in the down in Parkland in 2018 in Florida. So, but I'm just thinking, the common denominator is it's kids. And then in these three, it's basketball too, So I'm just thinking, what were you going to say? You had a comment on some of the stuff.
When you were saying about events, and while it was on the top of my head, with the events now, I've made some friends in the NBA, present and former. So I reached out to two of my good friends, one being Anthony Morrow, who played several years in the NBA. He played for the Nets, the Pelicans, the Golden State Warriors. And he's going to kill me because I can't remember all the teams, but he was this great sharpshooter. And he's a good friend of mine. And I do personal camps with D-Train Express with him. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to do some camps with him and his foundation to try to donate sneakers with Anthony Morrow because he's from Charlotte. So we're going to try to do that with him. Also, Harvey Grant. Remember Harvey Grant?
Yeah.
His brother's Horace Grant. He played in the NBA as well. His son is Jeremy Grant from the Portland Trailblazers. I met Harvey when I was doing Washington Wizard camp, and I reached out to him about One Stitch Foundation, and he was all for it. He's all for the community as well. So we're going to do some things with him as well. So I'm excited about the different events we're going to do them, because when you have NBA presence on board, that goes a long way.
Game changer. We do have to take a quick break, but I want to support you because we all need support. So your guy Anthony Morrow was with Golden State Warriors, then he was at the Nets, then he was at the Hawks, then he was at the Mavs, then he was at the Pelicans, then he was at the Thunder, and then in 2017 he played with the Bulls. So
there you go.
I got you, man.
Tell him. So Morrow, if you're watching, we got it.
We got you. We got the Wikipedia. That's how fast we work here in the attic. All right, when we come back, we're going to bring the show to a close, and we're going to really talk about just the future of the organization, how big you think this thing can go. And I'm feeling very inclined to say, tell me specifically how I can help with my community and my network and my world. That's what I always want to do. But for some reason today, I'm feeling even more connected to this mission. So let's take a quick break. Coach D, Tommy D, will be right back.
All right.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy and Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
In a post-COVID world, you may have many unanswered questions regarding your health. Are you looking to live a healthier lifestyle? Do you have a desire to learn more about mental health and enhance your quality of life? Or do you just want to participate in self-understanding and awareness? I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each Thursday, I will tackle these questions and work to enlighten you. Tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will be Frank About Health to advocate for all of us.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
We are back, baby. We're back. All right, look, here's the thing. I'm all about the nonprofit sector. I'm all about connecting. I'm all about building relationships. That song that you hear playing in the background there when we come back from breaks, that's my buddy Brendan Levy. I call him Uncle Brendan Levy over at the Queens Chamber of Commerce, and I bring it up to give him shout out and props. We wrote the song together, everybody. I've told you that before. He's the singer, but I think I sing pretty well too. I'll spare you that right now. But the reason why I tell you all the background is to say this, Coach. I'm very connected to the Queens Chamber of Commerce. I know you grew up in Flushing and then moved uptown to Harlem. I have connections in Bayside, Queens. We run the Bayside Business Association. When I say we run it, I'm on the board. My partner is Ed Probst, who plays ball every Sunday morning, and he's older than I am, so it makes me say I should be out there playing ball on Sundays or something. But Ed gets out there, and Ed's the president of the Bayside Business Association. So, all these relationships are open to you, to the organization, and what you guys are doing, and any connections we can make. And I think, specifically with the Queens Chamber of Commerce, we should make that happen because, they're connected. Actually, the Variety Boys and Girls Club in
Okay.
Long Island City. I'm having Costa Constantinides. Good job, Tommy D. I'm having Costa on the show. He's the executive director of Variety Boys and Girls Club. But this is the kind of stuff. I mean, you mentioned the Boys and Girls Club, I think in Brooklyn, right?
We did the Navy Yard, Brooklyn, Madison Square Brooklyn Navy Yard, Boys and Girls Club. Yep.
Boys and Girls Club over there. So
Yep.
obviously, there's already some precedent for that. So we can get you hooked into that organization. There might be some help, and maybe we get some support from the businesses in Queens to fund some of this. So talk to me, if you could, like, about your vision for this organization. Like, is it an organization that starts to, and we got to talk Botswana before we leave here too. So we got like 6 minutes. Bring it home. I'll try to be quiet and listen. Tell us what
Okay. My vision is to obviously touch kids' lives, footwear, just making them feel important, making them feel like they have a need on this earth, and that there are people out there that care.
Yeah.
There are people out there like Jane Lee, who just has a heart bigger than this world.
Yep.
And one thing about the kids, like when I go to certain neighborhoods and I go to other certain neighborhoods, some of them just feel like that they're just not wanted. Some of them feel like they're just victim of circumstance, and they just go with the flow. I talk to them a lot.
How old are these kids? How old are these kids you're talking about? I mean, that they
middle school
already at 12, at 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kids that are just kind of feeling like they're down and out, and that's it.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. And then that's really what my goal is for everyone, for us, for One Stitch to get known like that, to where big time organizations come to us and say, can you help us out? And that's really where I want it to be. I want One Stitch to be a household name.
Yeah, I love that.
I want it to be a household name,
And with all the connections, all the relationships that, you have in the NBA, and some of the stuff we've talked about offline and then again today, why can't it be? It should be, man. That's what it is. That's what this is. That's what I'm doing here with this show. It's a platform to get exposure. But, I was at, when I was at the Imagine Awards the other night, I met, I see Doug Geed from News 12, who was the MC, and I don't want to say that I know Doug very well, but like you get this on News 12, and then it becomes something that ripples out on Long Island, right? And then, you get, and then in boroughs and et cetera, et cetera. It's
right.
Look, man, we're all one relationship away, one connection away from something cracking open and being big.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. So that's really what my goal is with One Stitch, and just to help, and that one little thing could just change someone's outlook on how they view life and how they view others.
Yeah.
How they view others. That's another thing. A lot of times these kids, they're around their own people, which is fine, but you have to be able to think outside the box and say there are people out there that are not like everyone else.
100%.
That's willing to help me.
Yeah. What about Botswana? What's that all about?
Well, Botswana, they reached out to me. It's called the Lead Academy. They reached out to me on LinkedIn, just saying, Coach D, we follow you. They have 164 kids in their academy. It's not really the best facility. It's not really the best conditions for basketball playing and sports playing. There's no doors on the bathrooms. It's just, you can imagine what it looks like. He sent me videos and pictures and everything, and the kids have actually sent me videos requesting me to come to Botswana.
Really?
Yeah. So we started a GoFundMe page to try to get me to Botswana. And One Stitch is going to be a sponsor of Botswana. We're not going to donate 160 pair of sneakers all at once. Right. We're going to do it in increments. As we get more donations, we'll do it in increments like that to really give Botswana what they need as far as basketball equipment, as far as a feasible basketball court. Like they're playing on, dirt, like a dirt road where they can hurt their ankle. So what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to get like a sports multi sports court for them, so they can play volleyball, hockey, basketball, and it has different lines on it. Even pickleball. Pickleball's big now too.
We don't even have the time for pickleball, bro. You got me, because I am digging that game, man. So we go to Poconos every so often. There's this restaurant up there. They got a pickleball and a wiffle ball field right there, but the ball court next to it. I dig that, man, because even being an older guy, I don't have to run around too much, but I'm feeling like I feel good on that court. I do. Right. Have you played or what?
A little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit. It makes me feel old.
Yeah, I don't know why. All right, that's fair. Fair enough.
I'm not gonna. I'm
I mean,
not ready yet.
Yeah, but it's not shuffleboard.
I know. So with the Botswana thing, I reached out to Anthony Morrows and the Harvey Grants, and they said, Coach, whenever you put it together, I would love to. So when you have that NBA presence there, that could come and want to help out this community in Botswana, it's a great thing. So
how really working on that now? So the GoFundMe and everything, is that running through? That's through One Stitch.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So again, guys, if you haven't heard it yet, onestitchfoundation.com. Coach, what about your business? We got like a minute or two left. What about, D-Train Express and growing that, and you're looking for, other people to coach, or is the NBA thing got you super busy?
The NBA thing has me super busy, but again, I'm local. I coach all around in New York. I coach in Manhattan. I coach all around Long Island. And, basically more so, even though the D-Train Express is my own business, the One Stitch Foundation is something that I would like Nike or Puma or Under Armour or Adidas or any New Balance, any major sneaker company that we can partner with to help out these children. That would be a blessing. So I'm calling all my contacts now, and that I can reach out to try to get more sponsorship from these sneaker companies, because that's really where the focus is.
And now look, we know all these companies have corporate social responsibility. They have give back programs. They got a lot that they want to do in community and things like that. Have you thought about, that's not the question I want to ask. What I want to ask you is what's it cost for the pair of sneakers that you guys are buying?
It varies. I would say roughly 69 and above.
All right. So, okay. All right.
I'll tell you a story about that. This is how dedicated Jane Lee is.
Yeah.
This is how dedicated Jane Lee is. When we get lists from these schools for us to present them with their sneakers. When we had the list, we had a kid that had a size 14 and a half.
How old?
14 years old.
Wow.
So I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I had to call the guy. Wait, is this for the coaches or what?
Yeah.
Is this for the coaches or what? Come on now. But he was like, no, it was a student. And if you look on our webpage, when I was calling out the names, I wanted to see this kid. This kid is about 6'3".
Yeah.
And he's going to be a monster. So Jane diligently looked through the internet. We couldn't find cleats that big.
Oh, you needed cleats? It wasn't even
it was cleats. This is the last drop when we gave cleats. We couldn't even find cleats that big. So I wanted to see him. That kid is true. He's going to be a monster.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, and she found him.
He's 14 and a half. He's 6'3".
Yes. It's going to be a monster. I need to stay connected to that kid, right?
Yeah, no He's going to be running some camps and stuff for sure. We got to leave it there, Coach. Shout out anything you want to before we go. We're out of time.
I want to shout out Executive Director Jane Lee, the One Stitch Foundation. I told her this morning she was like an angel sent from heaven, because, you need people like that in the world. Yep. And she don't really have to do this, but just the kindness of her heart and her dedication. I know she don't like no one to talk about it, but I told her I was going to talk about it anyway. But also too, I just want the world to know that our One Stitch Foundation is up and running, and if we can help anyone and everyone, we will.
Awesome. Love it. We got to leave it there. That's the end of the show. We always run out of time way before we run out of words, and that's kind of my life. Coach D, I appreciate you. I look forward to meeting you in person real soon. I think we can do a lot of fun stuff together and really change the world together. Jane Lee, glad I met you. Thanks for my dog, because it wasn't for my dog, maybe I'll never meet you. Make it a great day, everybody. Take care of your nonprofits. I love you all. See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.